Come one, come all. Welcome to a new day. We're gonna go on a little adventure today. You guys ready? I finally came up with a name for this channel. I think it's a little ridiculous, but if you consider the type of videos that I'm making here, they're a little ridiculous. So I think the name of my channel kind of fits with the rest of it. And as you can see, it's I call it Truck Me Eccentrically. I think it's kind of funny. There's some meaning behind that I won't get into right now, but I will kind of explain what we're doing today if you guys care to join me. Shall you? No, I can't take that from Adam the Woo. But yeah, if you want to come along for the ride, you're welcome to. I'm capturing this because I myself find it interesting being, a little obsessive when it comes to roads and maps and everything else. And I like to figure out ways to get around in a truck. And that's one of the sole things that I actually like about my job, is that I can be creative with routing. So whenever I get a chance to do something like what I'm going to do today, I always, jump at it to see if I can actually pull it off. And there's nothing unique about the road that I'm on right now, or the road that I'm getting on, 285. But I have to get on 285 to start this special custom route that I'm talking about. I don't have to get on 285 to start it, but it does make it easier in its own way. It's gonna be a lot easier for me to position myself to get on the roads that I'm trying to get to, that are actually gonna get me to my destination if I take the interstate for the first part of it. And I've found, after doing stuff like this for an extended period of time, I've found that yeah, it's good to take highways and US routes, but sometimes you do still kind of need the interstate. And so what I do is I try to minimize the interstate driving, maximize the highway driving, but I still do depend on the interstate in certain circumstances, because it really does save time. In itself, it will save you some time to get on the interstate in certain circumstances. So I try to combine the two, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to completely shut down to the idea of using the interstate, nor am I going to shut down to the idea of using lesser roads. I try to combine both of them. And it actually, it works pretty good whenever I'm able to make just like an educated decision or guess on how to navigate. And so today I'm actually headed over to Alabama. I'm going to Cullman, and that's a city, it's off of I-65. It's what you could consider central Alabama when you're talking about longitude, but it's more northern Alabama. It's not up there, all the way up there where like Huntsville is, but it is kind of between Huntsville and Birmingham. But it's off of I-65, unlike Huntsville, which is off of I-59, I believe. So I started in McDonough, which if you guys watched my previous videos, you're familiar with what I'm talking about when I say McDonough, my place of dispatch. I jumped on 75 north and then 285 west. And this exit that I'm getting off of here is where I'm going to part ways with the interstate. You guys like how I did that? I didn't technically start the video until I was about to get off the interstate. So I'm getting on Fulton Industrial Parkway up here, and this is actually a really handy road. I never really put this road into consideration previously, before doing some experimenting within the past few months. But yeah, Fulton Industrial Parkway is it's a good road to get around the west side, southwest side of Atlanta. And it's very convenient, and what I like about it the most is that it has traffic on it, but it's not usually awful. In fact, the further west you go on this road, the less traffic there is. My ultimate goal is that I'm trying to get, well, I won't say ultimate, but my minor goal here is that I'm trying to get to Carrollton, Georgia, because in Carrollton is another road, it's called US 27, that I need to get on and go north to US 278, where I can go west. And basically 278 west is what's going to take me the rest of the way to Cullman. But I have to get there first, and if I'm going to get there without the interstate, I'm going to have to go this way. Because I'm in a truck, because I'm subject to the restricted roads all around me, at any given moment I'm having to go this way. But that's not a bad thing, because if you're a truck driver and you know you're used to working, or you're familiar with working in the Atlanta area consistently, then it might pay off for you to learn about Fulton Industrial Parkway here. So literally you just stay on Fulton Industrial and it becomes a 2-lane after so long. Now eventually it's going to turn into another road. It's called Caps Ferry Road, and it's going to take me all the way over to Georgia Highway 166, which is, you know, once I jump on that road and I head west a little bit, I'm gonna be pretty much in Carrollton. There's a little bypass road, and I think it's Georgia Highway 113 if I'm not mistaken, but it bypasses the inner city part of Carrollton. So I'll jump on that, and hopefully the video won't be so freaking long. I mean, it's still gonna be pretty long, but it's not gonna be like 2 hours like the other one. My first video was over 2 hours long, and I'm just thinking, man, how do you make truck driving videos on YouTube and make them short and still show people everything that you want them to see without it being long and drawn out? How do you do that? But it's just the nature of truck driving itself. It is long and it is drawn out. Therefore, if you try to capture it on video, the video is going to be long and drawn out unless you know, leave gaps in the footage. And I do leave some gaps in the footage, but I try to fill in enough so that, you know, you've got enough information for, you know, the right amount of information that's necessary without like too much detail, like going overboard on the details and you know, explaining things that don't necessarily matter. But as you guys can see, this road, it's a godsend. There's not anything on this road, really. There's traffic, but it's not usually ever backed up unless there's like a really slow truck or, you know, slow vehicle driving on this road, and they're driving like 40 miles an hour. and they've got a mile long line of traffic behind them, it's not ever backed up on this road. The speed limit is 55 most of the way. There are some sections where it drops down to 45, but primarily it's 55 the whole way. And see, I've been driving a truck around Atlanta for the past 7 years, and I didn't even have the realization of this road until a few months ago. So I'm happy to be showing it to you now. Okay, we're coming up on our left turn to get on Highway 166 West. This is a kind of a tricky place to turn. Got blind corners on both sides, so got to be careful right there. In 3.5 miles, we're going to intersect with Route 27. So to picture it on the map, you've got Carrollton right here, right? Well, this road is going up like this and going around the outside of the city limits on like the northeast side of Carrollton. Now on this road that we're about to get on, 27, we're going to go north. We're going to cross over I-20, continuing north, and we're going to be on this road for a while, but eventually we're going to get up there to Route 278, which we're going to change course when we get up there. We're going to start heading west, and it doesn't take long to get into Alabama once you get on that part of 278. Okay, we're in the vicinity of crossing over I-20. Just in case you guys are curious as to what exit number this is on 20, I'll look it up and I'll put it on the screen, just so you kind of get an idea as to where it brings you out on 20. In case you wanted to get back on 20 right there and head west toward Alabama, you'll know what exit you're going to come out at. But we're not far from Alabama at all at this point. So as I was saying, you know, the people that are familiar with that part of 20, as far as, you know, taking the standard way, which would be 285 west to 20 west in Atlanta, well, you saw what I just did, and I didn't have to deal with any. I bypassed all that stuff, and it probably took a little bit longer because, you know, you're obviously able to drive faster on the interstate, but there was hardly any traffic at all the whole way. But Route 27 here, it's also connected with Highway 1, Georgia Highway 1. And this is a really cool road. I like this road a lot. It will actually get you up to Chattanooga, actually. Goes up there to like Rossville, Georgia. But before that, it takes you straight through Rome, Georgia. And it's just a really cool historical US route, you know. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of cool stuff, especially once you get up there in the mountains. There's a lot of nice looking towns and scenery up there. But my wife and I, we just went on our 10th year wedding anniversary this past February, and we took this road all the way up to Chattanooga, and it was nice. We enjoyed the ride. Once you get past all this, all the traffic lights and stuff, it gets better. Once you get north of like Rome, I would say. But it was a good alternative to get to Chattanooga instead of taking 75 north, I-75 north. A good alternative. Nice road. Laid back, chill. I recommend it. Okay, so total distance you're gonna spend on Route 27 here, from the time you turn off of Highway 166 to the point that you make your left turn onto Route 278 up here, it's almost 30 miles. It's pretty close to 30 miles. So you're gonna be on this road for a while if you take this route. Again, I can't tell you exactly how far it is because my GPS is locking up on me. But I know we're getting close. At this point, we're getting pretty close to our left turn onto Route 278. This town right here, it's called Cedar Town. And they're real picky about where they want trucks to drive through their town at. So yeah, it's really just a matter of sticking to the truck routes, finding the signs that direct you through. I'm gonna go ahead and get in the left lane as soon as I pick up some speed. Set myself up to make a left turn onto 278 up here. There should be a sign telling me where to turn at. I'm used to taking 278 on a regular basis. I'm just not used to getting on it from this direction. I usually, when I'm getting on 278, I'll be coming from Rockmart, Georgia, which is east of here. That, you know, to get to Rockmart from here, you would stay on 278. Okay, this is our junction. So normally I'll make a delivery in Rockmart and then I'll have to go to Anniston, which is in Alabama, after that, and I'll jump on 278 West and come down from this direction and make a right turn at this intersection instead of a left turn. So yeah, that was about 30 miles, I'd say, from the point I got on 27 to the point that I'm turning off of it right here. It's about 30 miles from here back to Carrollton. Now that we're getting on 278, we're actually going to stay on 278 for the remainder of the route until we do get to Cullman, and then we got to jump on another route. It's US 31, just for a couple miles, and the distribution center's off of that road in Cullman. But you know, just it looks like I've got another 105 miles to go if the GPS is actually giving me accurate information. Okay, the terrain on this section of 278 is kind of interesting. There's some foothills down here, and in fact we're going to see a lot of what I guess you could call foothills to like just minor small mountains in Alabama. See, the cool thing about Alabama is that it's west of Georgia, so you know, like, in order to see mountains in Georgia you have to go to North Georgia. But that's not the case in Alabama, because the Appalachian mountain range, it kind of veers downward and westward as it goes south from the northeast to the southwest. Kind of goes in that direction, and I mean, you can go pretty far south in Alabama and still see pretty big foothills. I mean, I wouldn't call them like full-on mountains, because they're nowhere near as big as the mountains in like Tennessee and Virginia, but they're still, you know, I'd say they're between the size of foothills and standard mountains in the Appalachian mountain range. I mean, there's actually mountains, if you want to call them that, There's mountains in Birmingham, and Birmingham is on the same latitude as Atlanta, pretty much. So that's the cool thing about Alabama. And we'll see quite a bit of that on our way over. But yeah, this part of 278, it's got some sharp turns, some downgrades. It's pretty fun. Never usually much traffic at all. Every now and then you'll come up on a slow truck or something like that that's, you know, moving pretty slow, but I think I might be that guy today because I'm loaded. This isn't a tobacco load, this is a Walmart load. So I'm just going to the DC in Cullman. And we're getting pretty close to the state line now. This is where my phone service drops out on me for like the next 20 freaking miles. I think this is the sign up here for Alabama, the state line. And it's funny because as soon as you get on the other side of the line, yeah, it's right here, Alabama state line. As soon as you get on the other side of this line, there's a big fireworks store. And they've got signs for it right here, Black Cat Fireworks. I bet those are going for pretty cheap right now since it's July 5th. Used to be that you couldn't buy fireworks in Georgia. They used to be illegal. So everybody would come over here to Alabama or like South Carolina to buy them. But you can actually buy mortar fireworks in Georgia now. So places like this that sell them, I'm pretty sure they lost a lot of business when that happened, because it used to be everybody would head on over to Alabama to get some fireworks for New Year's or the 4th of July. But you don't have to do that anymore. Here's a sharp turn right here. It's not too bad, but it's an embankment. Very nice out here. Okay, here's another grade. And if you look on the horizon there, you can actually see just for the sake of it, I'll call it a mountain. It's a small mountain, but you can see it right there. This is a downgrade. As you can imagine, this road right here, this is gorgeous in the fall with all the trees changing color and everything. Maybe I'll be able to capture that this fall. But yeah, I've been through here in you know, like mid-November, and it's just, it looks like a painting, you know what I'm saying? It looks like Bob Ross came through and used his #2 fan brush on all the trees so that they look spectacular. So we're not too far out from that town I was talking about, Piedmont. We're getting pretty close to it now, which is kind of an interesting town. There's something about the old towns in Alabama. They vary from the old towns in Georgia. They're just slightly different. They have a different feel to them. Anybody know what I'm talking about? So it's really cool to just discover, you know. It's really got nothing to do with my job. It's got nothing to do with truck driving. It's just the fact that you pick a highway, you jump on it, you see where it takes you, you discover new places that you haven't seen before. There's a lot of special stuff hidden out there, you know. It's hidden and it's just waiting for you to discover it. It's an adventurous kind of thing where you don't have to be a truck driver to do it, you know, obviously. The fact that I can do it while I'm working, though, is what I love about my job. My job comes with a lot of baggage, you know. It comes with a lot of negative things that will wear down on you, you know. So I try to kind of let that bad stuff, that negative, bad juju stuff, I try to let it roll off of me as much as I can. Now, some days I'm not doing so well and I absorb all the negativity like a sponge, you know. But I try to learn on days like that. I try to learn the difference, and I try to learn, you know, and remember the good stuff about my job. Because if I could do stuff like this every day, oh man, I'd love it. It'd be great to do this. Like, if I had this route every day, oh man, it'd be fantastic. And I wouldn't ever get on the interstate, except for, you know, what I did earlier when I used 285 to get to Fulton Industrial Parkway. But yeah, I mean, that's what I love about my job, is just being able to explore. And it's like I'm going on an adventure right now. Got another mountain, quote unquote mountain, up ahead in the distance. I don't know if you can see it. It's really hazy out here. I think that's literally humidity, you know. It's very humid right now, so. But there is a mountain on the horizon in the distance. Look at this junkyard right here. It's huge. I wonder if they got anything special up in there that would be worth restoring. A lot of agriculture out here. This right here and over here, it might be cotton, because I know they grow a lot of cotton in central Alabama. All right, we're in Piedmont now. Gonna make a slight right up here. Yeah, these country roads, there's something about them, it just makes me want to blast some freaking Zeppelin, sit back and just chill and gather my mileage. I want to point something out in this town that's pretty cool. And you can kind of see it in the distance up there, but we're gonna pass right by it. But there's like a huge cemetery that's on a hillside, and it's just, there's just something about the way that it sits, like the angle of the hillside with all the graves and stuff. It looks awesome, and it's so big that you can see it from far away. Can you guys see that? If not, it's cool. You're gonna be able to see it in a minute, because we're gonna drive right past it. Can you guys see it now? That's a really steep hill for a cemetery to be on it, you know? But it looks awesome. It just stands out. It's a big cemetery. But because it's on that hill, you can see the whole cemetery. It's like maybe they had an accident or something. Right here. He's pushing his truck back. Yeah, you see this? It's cool, isn't it? You guys like that? First time I saw that, I was like, man, that's awesome. Another fireworks store. Now we're not too far from that city, Gadsden. It's a pretty good sized city, but it's older too, and it's got some interesting things to point out about it. Once we get north of Gadsden, I believe US 431, Route 431, it connects briefly with 278. So you've got the two US routes connected for a brief period. If my memory serves me, that's what happens. But then eventually, you know, 431, it breaks away from 278 and goes north. But for a short period of time, we're going to be on both roads. I'll tell you something about that road that confused the ever-living slop out of me. When I first started coming to Alabama on a regular basis, right after I got this job, I had no idea that there were so many US routes with the number 31 attached to them. I'm pretty sure there's at least 4 or 5 of them. There's a US 31, there's a 231, there's a 331, there's a 431, all in Alabama. But it's kind of similar with 78, because you've got regular 78, you've got 278, and then on the other side of Georgia, and I'm sure in other places, you've got 378, which I know for a fact that goes into South Carolina. So that really confused me. And I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that the US routes is pretty standard, because whatever number it is, if it ends on an odd number, you know, like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, you know, an odd number, that means it goes from south to north. But if it ends on an even number, 2, 4, 6, 8, it's gonna go from west to east. I know that's what the interstates do, and I think that's what the US routes do as well. Because 278, I know it'll take you, you know, west to east or east to west. So it's a latitudinal route, whereas 431, it's more of a longitudinal, if those are even words, route, because it goes south to north. All right, this is Gadsden. Welcome to the City of Champions. Now, when we make this ride up here, we're gonna be on 431 and 278. So apparently they come together, and it must be somewhere, if I could guess, they probably come together somewhere north of Anniston, which is like south of here. That's probably about 20 miles south of here. That's where I-20 is as well. You can tell it's old. Now look at the little walkway things to walk over the road. That's pretty fancy. Little run down, but fancy. Yeah, Anniston south, that way. And you got the 2 signs right there. There's another one of those walkways. See, the only bad part about today is that I have to do another load. When I get back to Atlanta, I have to do another load. And it takes, to drive this route that I'm driving right now, it takes about 4 hours, a little over 4 hours to do it. Versus it taking, you know, a little over 3 hours to take the interstate. So I'm gonna have to take the interstate back so that I have enough driving time to finish my second load today. So I'm not gonna be able to come back this way. I'm gonna have to take the interstates to get back. try to save some of my driving clock, you know. My second load isn't anything big, it's just these lights right here, man. It's not anything big, it's just the same one that I did in my first video where I went and picked up in Forest Park and I took it to Union City. Ooh, it stinks here. Ooh. Whoa. Ugh, it smells like a stale fart. Like, gosh, it stinks. Man, what is that? This is a steep one. See, a lot of trucks use this road, but if you notice, they're all like Kenworths and Peterbilts. It's all like the owner operator trucks from the look of it anyway. I haven't really seen any mega carrier trucks on this road because they're all on the interstate. Another town here, Holly Pond, established 1912. That looks like fun, waiting to happen. I think it's for sale. All right, 17 miles away. I've seen like half a dozen of those Jack's restaurants. I tell you, it's an Alabama thing. It is. They are like everywhere here. I've seen at least 6 of them since we got to Gadsden. They're like the McDonald's of Alabama. What do you think about this? That's a pretty steep hill. Coming down on a bridge. Whoa. And then straight back up. Oh. Yeah. Crazy. I love it. This is the part that takes the longest to do, especially when you're loaded. Guys, I'm so reluctant to get on the interstate today. I'm just thinking in my head, I'm thinking, am I gonna have issues with getting this done and still having enough time, not running out of time on my driving clock? Am I gonna be able to pull this off? If I take the same way to get back, is it gonna be a problem? Look what happened here. Maybe they just left it like that because there's like houses right there. Maybe one day they're gonna finish with the 4-lane highway. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at my driving clock and figure out exactly how long it took to get here, and then go from there and try to see if I can get away with it. I'll do it. I'll take the same way to get back, but if not, well, it sucks. But see, if it weren't for that second load, then I wouldn't be worried about getting back at all. But because I have to do that second load, it makes it a bit more trivial. Either way, this is going to be a really long shift. I mean, I might work 14 hours today. I mean, I think it's a little crazy that they're making me do a second load after coming all the way over here. They don't usually do stuff like that unless they're real busy. Because this isn't exactly down the street from McDonough. This is a long load. I mean, there's some mileage involved with this. All right, we're in Cullman now. Two and a half miles to Route 31. This is Cullman. We made it. Okay. Well, the GPS just locked up on me, so I may have missed my turn. It says 2nd Avenue. It's right there in front of me. Oh, crap. I need to be in that left turning lane. There's no sign. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go around the long way now because the GPS locked up on me. Second Avenue. At least you get to see more of the town though. I can't believe I just did that again. Wait, no, here we go. It's right here. We're good. This is also 2nd Avenue. That's what threw me off. How can both roads be 2nd Avenue? That doesn't make any sense. Cool. So we just take a left here and it's literally It's off of that highway. It's off of 69. But you got to get on 31 to get to 69. So we take a left down here. It forks off to the right. Check this place out though, it's pretty cool. It's an old vintage Mountain Dew sign. They probably got a theater somewhere with a marquee, like an old style marquee. There's the courthouse. That actually looks like a newer building though. Okay, so this is what I'm leaving you with on this video. I-65 southbound Cullman. On my way to Forest Park to get loaded, take that to Union City, and then go back to McDonough. It took longer than I remember it taking to go the back way. I don't remember it taking that long to get there. I knew it would take at least 4 hours, but according to my driving clock, it took almost 5 hours to do that. Like like 4 hours and 45 minutes. That's how long it took for me to get from McDonough to Cullman using US 278. So yeah, it's definitely not the quickest way to go, but it's cool. I like it. If I had to go this way every time I came to Cullman, I wouldn't want to come, honestly. There's a rest area right here. It's the Cullman rest area, and it's actually really cool. It's a nice one. I used to stay there when I was over the road with Schneider, and they'd give me a load coming back toward Atlanta and like Alabama or something, where I'd pick it up and I'd drive down 65 from like Indiana or Illinois, and I'd stop at that rest area and take my break. So it kind of brings back some OTR memories right there. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoyed the route. It's one of my favorite routes that I'm doing currently. And so, yeah. I know you don't want to see this. I know you don't want to see the interstate. I mean, I know that I don't want to see it. Maybe you do, but I really don't. But I'm stuck with it because I just don't have enough time on my driving clock to finish doing my job today if I try to go back the way that I came, because I can't take another 5 hours doing that. I mean, according to this, it's going to take like 3 hours for me to get to Forest Park, and then, well, probably I'm going to need at least another 2 to 2.5 hours to finish. So yeah, I don't want to cut it that close, so I'd rather just do it the difficult way and save time like everybody else wants to do. That's how I'm doing it to get back. Okay, stay tuned for the next one, whenever that will be. I'm not sure. And take care. All right, later. Well, I can't go without showing you this. That's a little scary. Doesn't look like it's reached the gas tank, the fuel tank yet, but it's getting there. Look at that crap. Yeah, I was coming back up toward Macon a couple weeks ago, and there was a reefer trailer that caught on fire, and man, that thing was just engulfed. I mean, granted, I-16, it's only 2 lanes anyway, but I had to get all the way over in the left lane, like on the shoulder when I was passing it, and you could still feel the heat coming off of it. I mean, that crap was hot. Probably melted my fairings on my truck. It was so freaking hot. But yeah, that sucks for that person. I feel really bad for them, you know. That's not a trip on 285 that you want to take, trust me. It's not. Or anywhere for that matter. Anyway, I'm almost in Forest Park now. But they're calling me, telling me that this warehouse is gonna close at 4 o'clock, and I'm not gonna get there until like 4:04. So he said, you know, just stop by there anyway. If they're still there, see if they'll load you. If not, come back to McDonough. So that's what I'm gonna do.